the square that we're passing through with Taurus, Venus, and Aquarius, Pluto. This is a huge opportunity to negotiate fairly on your own behalf concerning two demands that are time sensitive at this gate. And those two demands are at Taurus Venus, in the house context where you have Taurus, it's suggesting that you're reevaluating or you're assessing what holds value in your life. What's most important that makes you feel stable, valuable, a sense of pleasure in your life, a sense of sensuality in your life that makes you feel alive, that inspires you, that lets you know that all of your labor, your hard work, everything that you're cultivating, everything that you're working towards, that it's even worth it. It's the sensual experiences through Venus that your soul really needs, that your flesh, your body really needs to balance out the challenges of life, to let you know that there is something good to look forward to in your life. Where you have Taurus Venus, that house context is very important because it's specific to who you are at the first house in Aries. If you look at your Sagittarius placement, Black Moon Lilith at the second decan of Sagittarius, it holds what it is that you want to express from that Taurus placement. It's the expressions and experiences that gives you a sense of fulfillment that requires you to relate to the physical reality with that expression. And that's what makes you feel alive right there. It makes you feel like it's all worth it to even breathe air. If I can't do this, I'm not fulfilled. I'm not happy. I'm not stable in myself. I have to have this to look forward to. This is what lets me know that everything's okay. Now, the demand is that some things could be outdated. Some things could be taking up space because of convenience, familiarity. It's what you've gotten used to. But this is where we take a second look and we're reevaluating and we're watching where we have began to hoard things in our life. Hoarding people, material, experiences, pleasures, objects, attachments or codependencies to certain things. And we're checking where are we hoarding things? Where are we hoarding things that are really just in the way? So it's refreshing the senses to see, is this what I still value? Is this still important to me? How important is it? What could I afford to let go of? What can I simply never compromise in letting go of? And this clears space, it adds clarity, and it refreshes the memory on where you're at with value, relating to value in your life. Pluto is demanding that there's a negotiation. Because what Pluto wants for us at the Aquarius placement in your chart is transformation. You've got to make a change somewhere. You have to sacrifice somewhere if this is going to be. There has to be a negotiation, and where the change, the adjustment, or sacrifice has to take place is at your Pluto placement in Aquarius, the house theme. Okay, this gives you the context for what it is. That moment of disillusionment is revealing a call for your attention. That, hey, listen, I need you to look at this, and you've got to make an adjustment here. It can't stay like this. It's going to hurt a little. It can be a little uncomfortable, but you've got to make some decisions, because you have to modify who you are at this Aquarius placement. You have to progress who you are. You have to innovate your circumstances if there is to be a future trajectory where you get to enjoy what you truly value. If you get to absorb what you truly value, if you really get to stabilize in what you truly value, you have to make adjustments at that Aquarius placement if that's going to be a reality for you. What is demanding of your time, your energy, your attention at your Aquarius, Pluto, house expression? What is demanding of you? To where there's a power struggle presented, where your power and power of persons or power of circumstances is demanding a change. You could feel like you're at the limitation of your power, the end of what you're able to do with the circumstances at that Aquarius placement. So this is where difficult conversations have to be had. This is where all things have to be taken into consideration to identify what are the objective details that have to be acknowledged, addressed, managed, nipped in the bud. Where does action have to be taken so that there's a fair negotiation and compromise between what I need at Taurus and what I need at Aquarius? This is an adjustment of the self and the reality that allows for greater freedom while balancing a deeper sense of stability in the physical realm, in the material realm, and all that we relate to of it. We want to stabilize in stories and themes of pleasures, joy, love, the domestic, things of life that we use to add sweetener, comfort, console to the soul. And it's part of how the first house in Aries wishes to express itself or acknowledge itself as part of the living. Without that Taurus expression, the first house in Aries aspect of the self, it does not feel like it is acknowledging its own celebration of life. This can cause many problems. We have to feel like the first house aspect of the self and the Aries aspect of the self does have a place to ground itself in the life experience through the senses, through the astral body. The Sagittarius, Black Moon Lilith expression of the self has part in this because it indicates that the truth of me, the most authentic expression of myself, it has to be justified in my physical reality and experience. I can't live at limitation of who I am. I need to live in full capacity of who I am and maximize my witnessing of my own life and what it's supposed to mean. And it's very personal. The need for stability and the need for freedom are in conflict. But here is where we make it possible to stabilize ourselves while also finding consistency in our visionary pursuits in our life, where we find ourselves in service to humanity and where we find ourselves sharing in the stage where we bring our own gourd of wisdom and experiences and service to each other in this realm. Time is very limited. Energy is limited. Time and energy are resources that are very limited. And it could feel demanding that we negotiate with exactly that in mind. For this reason, attachments, control, demands, codependencies, addictions, unhealthy habits, consumption or domination of other persons, not giving space or room for the freedom, the autonomy, the free will and expression of other persons. And with Juno also added to the picture, reconsidering our commitments, reconsidering our relationships, and making sure that Pluto will possibly empower us to make all of the necessary changes in our commitments and relationships, to always make room for growth. To change the context of relationships, that we no longer own or consume each other, but we experience each other. We no longer attempt to control each other and call it love, call it commitment, but seeing each other as visionaries who come together to expand what truth could mean, what purpose could mean, what service to humanity could mean, what fulfillment could mean, what success and victory could mean if we work together. It's the higher vibrations of friendships that are superior to what we have passed through in the past, of situationships, romantic justifications for mutual agreements to control each other or burden each other in toxic terms. But this is rethinking everything, in that I want to be free and I want to honor you being free as well. And with respect to the boundaries that I found for myself and the boundaries that you found for yourself, I believe that we could trust each other to collaborate, to share, to be mutually supportive, to practice community, to find friendship, companionship, and relatability, and what we both found as empowerment in each other, inspiration in each other, or even motivation in each other, because there is much that we can accomplish as free persons. I want the stability of the sensual pleasures and experiences that I could experience with someone else, but I also have to negotiate in a way where there's room, there's balance, there's acknowledgement and respect for my need to also live out a life that is purposeful, meaningful, and without limitation in my freedom, my autonomy, my sense of personal empowerment, and the authenticity that comes with who I uniquely am, that it should be honored and not criticized, judged, condemned, or any attempts to control or change who I am. These are higher frequencies of what relationships are going to mean from now on, if we are going to have relationships, if we are going to enjoy each other. This is where we change the context to an ethereal, intellectual, visionary, purposeful, and service oriented approach to why we come together. Coming together for reasons and purposes that are bigger than ourselves. For intentions and ideas that expand past our personal lust, insecurities, and inadequacies covered up in attempts to demand the love that we couldn't create for ourselves. Here comes the healthy version of relationships, the empowered version of relationships that balances both the sensual fulfillment of Taurus and also the free visionaries outlook of the humanitarian that finds expansive meaning and purpose and connectedness with others as we learn to overcome the illusion of attachment with others. There is so much good that is taking place in the current hours. Venus is going to conjunct Ceres in just a few days, and this conjunction, it will teach us exactly how to answer the call of our own nature to bring satisfaction to the physical form, the physical flesh, the physical reality that we realize now it's not asking too much to be able to enjoy my short time in this life. It's not asking too much to be able to feel, sense the experiences that my first house in Aries expression longs to witness itself as a part of. And in particular, the Sagittarius Black Moon Lilith aspect of the self will certainly channel itself through Ceres and Taurus. And uniquely what it is saying is that I feel alive when I release the shame to be exactly who I am. I feel alive when I'm no longer asking permission, when I'm no longer at hesitation to express exactly the convictions that I have within the depths of my soul, the things that I suffered to come to clarity in myself, and now I want to also be free to express it. And with Juno conjunct Pluto in Aquarius, I would prefer to be surrounded by those who celebrate me for being exactly who I am. I would prefer to be in the midst and in company of those who understand, who celebrate, who receive exactly who I am, who serve as reminders of why I am the way that I am, and all of the good that it is here to accomplish. I want to be celebrated in my uniqueness and what is eccentric about me or what is unorthodox about me. I want to be celebrated about what may cause others to gasp and clutch their pearls, if I should express myself this way. I'm not entertained, I'm not comforted, I'm not flattered, and I'm even not interested anymore in those who refuse to understand me, and those who have a problem with me being exactly who I am. I prefer not to be in your company. I prefer not to be in your midst. I prefer that you set yourself free from the burden of having access to me. This is changing the story and understanding that not only do we deserve to seek out and confirm our own community of those who share the same convictions, sentiments, and who are at the same frequency of being, but we also do not want to hold any more limitations in what we deserve to feel and sense of pleasure and joy and stability in this life by whatever righteous means that it can be procured. I no longer want to deny myself those things that makes me happy, that makes me fulfilled, or gives me a sense of joy and pleasure, especially at the expense of others' securities or insecurities in me being authentic and unscripted. With all of this being said, authenticity is here. The realness is here. But do we have the courage to finally allow ourselves to be authentic, to be real? There is a community just for you. There are people who are here just like you, companions of heaven, assigned in this earth through contracts and bonds. And the souls remember, even if cognitively you may struggle to remember, it will be a familiar feeling. This is the time where our soul tribes will find their way to each other, and we will prefer to no longer entertain stories, communities, groups, and connections that are simply tolerating us but not celebrating us. We should be surrounded by helping hands, supporting hands, helping mouths and supporting mouths, spirits, hearts, ideas, thoughts, information, substance, and resources that want to see you win and succeed, not praying for your downfall.